Hey, everybody. Welcome to day 25 of our 2020 Focus Bible reading as we're looking at 2 Corinthians. We are on chapter 8, and this is what it says. And now, brothers and sisters, we want you to know about the grace that God has given the Macedonian churches. In the midst of a very severe trial, their overflowing joy and their extreme poverty welled up in rich generosity. For I testify that they gave as much as they were able, and even beyond their ability. Entirely on their own, they urgently pleaded with us for the privilege of sharing in this service to the Lord's people, and they exceeded our expectations. They gave themselves first of all to the Lord, and then, by the will of God, also to us. So we urged Titus, just as he had earlier made a beginning, to bring also to completion this act of grace on your part. But since you excel in everything, in faith, in speech, in knowledge, in complete earnestness, and in the love we have kindled in you, see that you also excel in this grace of giving. I am not commanding you, but I want to test the sincerity of your love by comparing it with the earnestness of others. For you know that the grace of our Lord Jesus Christ, that though he was rich, yet for your sake he became poor, so that you through his poverty might become rich. And here is my judgment about what is best for you in this matter. Last year you were the first not only to give, but also to have the desire to do so. Now finish the work so that your eager willingness to do it may be matched by your completion of it according to your means. For if the willingness is there, the gift is acceptable according to what one has, not according to what one does not have. Our desire is not that others might be relieved while you are hard pressed, but that there might be equality. At the present time, your plenty will supply what they need, so that in turn their plenty will supply what you need. The goal is equality. As it is written, the one who gathered much did not have too much, and the one who gathered little did not have too little. Thanks be to God who put into the heart of Titus the same concern I have for you. For Titus not only welcomed our appeal, but he is coming to you with much enthusiasm and on his own initiative. And we are sending along with him the brother who is praised by all the churches for his service to the gospel. What is more, he was chosen by the churches to accompany us as we carry the offering, which we administer in order to honor the Lord himself and to show our eagerness to help. We want to avoid any criticism of the way we administer this liberal gift, for we are taking pains to do what is right, not only in the eyes of the Lord, but also in the eyes of man. In addition, we are sending with them our brother who has often proved to us in many ways that he is zealous, and now even more so because of his great confidence in you. As for Titus, he is my partner and co-worker among you. As for our brothers, they are representatives of the churches and an honor to Christ. Therefore, show these men the proof of your love and the reason for our pride in you, so that the churches can see it. Now, what you need to understand about this is the Apostle Paul is receiving an offering to take back to Jerusalem because the church in Jerusalem and Israel at that time, in those surrounding areas, is under incredible persecution, and they are also going through a lot of difficulties, and so they are in desperate need of resources that they cannot get for themselves. And so the Apostle Paul is collecting and offering among the communities that have more than the churches that he wants to share it with. And so he's going around and asking them to be generous towards this offering, and not just to do so with their words, but to do so in action and to be prepared. That it's not a spur of the moment thing, but they would actually set aside the resources so that when Titus arrives, those resources will be ready to go. And we're looking at a community that has mixed wealth. In Corinth, there are people who are very wealthy, and then you have people who are very poor. And he's really challenging those who have to give according to what they have. And he says it in verse 11, now finish the work so that your eager willingness to do it may be matched by your completion of it according to your means. For if the willingness is there, the gift is acceptable according to what one has, not according to what one does not have. So he's not asking for people to give what they don't have. He's saying according to what you do have. And the goal here is to not like impoverish you while we enrich others. No, the goal is to try to bring them up to at least where you are, so that there's equality. And Paul's not, he's not expressing socialism here as any kind of political system. These verses can sometimes be used that way. What Paul is trying to talk about here is he's inspiring generosity. He's not commanding it. He's not even demanding it. He's saying, listen, the churches in Macedonia have been generous. You should be generous. And give as you feel the Lord is leading you to give, not out of what you don't have, but out of what you do. And that's an important distinction, because this isn't something that is crammed down on people. This is an opportunity that's given to people. When we have our Christmas Eve offering, what I love about it is this is not a demand. We don't demand it of people. We simply provide an opportunity, and I love to see that generosity that pours out of people during those offerings. It is an amazing thing, because especially at a time when we're buying things and there's gift giving and all these other things, the material becomes so much more important. And for people to simply give it away and know that they're giving it to a church that is in turn giving it away, there's power in that. And I love what the Apostle Paul says is, with everything that you guys do, he says in verse 7, but since you excel in everything, in faith, in speech, in knowledge, in complete earnestness, and in the love we have kindled in you, see that you also excel in this grace of giving. I can tell you, it is exciting when Diane and I excel in giving, when it's not just we give our bare minimum or we give our leftovers, but we actually carve out resources to share. It's something that we have aspired to grow in, that we don't just give 10% of our income, because that's the tithe is something that's in the Bible, and we think it's a good thing in the Bible. It's not a command to Christians. We want to go and be above and beyond that. We're not happy just doing what we consider to be the minimum. I think the tithe is a starting place, but we've striven to actually go beyond that. And I'm not patting myself on the back for that. It's a better way to live. And I want to do what the Apostle Paul says and excel in the grace of giving, especially given that our culture, the way that we live, we are already in the top 4% of the wealthiest people in the world, just being a part of this culture. If there are any people who are rich in this world, it is us. And we should be sharing that to help bring others up. And so that's the challenge here. He's going to continue this argument in chapter 9, but that's it for today. So we'll see you tomorrow.